Hey, what's up everyone? I'm back on my Pyromancer class using a build that can hit as high as 10 million damage and sometimes even more. I can also take out chunks of health from bosses in the game just by using a single combo. Don't forget to subscribe for more weekly Outriders content. I also have a Discord set up for anyone looking for more people to play with. The link to that will be in the description down below. Let's start this build off with the weapons I'll be using. I went with not one, but two Damascus offerings coming with the attributes of crit damage, which isn't that important, status power, which is important, and lastly, skill life leech. The big thing for these weapons is the mod combination using Fortress that's going to boost all of my sources of damage, including the skills I use. Having a large magazine to keep this consistently going is the main reason I went for it. Also, the armor and resistance boost I get is really good as well. The mod that comes with the weapons, Claymore Torrent, being most likely the best or at least in the top 3 weapon mods that deal damage, dealing 207,000 damage to 4 enemies in a 6-meter radius while having a short 2-second cooldown. Also, the mod Fortress boosts this damage as well, allowing it to do even more. Now, I know I didn't explain yet why I have 2 of the same weapons, but it will make a lot more sense when I talk about how to use them when I finish talking about the skills and how to use everything all together. That's everything for the weapons, so let's dive into the armor now, starting off with the helmet. I went with the helmet of the Ikari, coming with the attributes of Anomaly Power, Skill Life Leech, and Status Power. Anomaly Power and Status Power are the main attributes to this build that are going to give us that crazy damage with the Phaser Beam skill. With the mods, it came with Fire Tsunami increasing the width of Heatwave so we can hit multiple enemies so much easier to really stack up that Anomaly Power. Then the second mod is Frequent Phaser, reducing the cooldown of Phaser Beam by a huge 30%, allowing us to use it more often. Next up is the chest piece going with the armor of the Ikari again, having the attributes of Anomaly Power, Skill Life Leech, and cooldown reduction. It would be better to have Status Power instead of Skill Life Leech, but getting some healing in is still really nice. For the mods, I equipped Captain Hunter to increase my damage to elites, and left Tidal Wave on, which gives me an additional heat wave to use so I can stack even more Anomaly Power with this skill. Moving on to the legs for the third piece of the Ikari set to get the set active bonus of increasing my Anomaly Power by 50% for each enemy hit by the skill Heatwave. It came with the exact same attributes as the chest piece. With the mods, I left Anomaly Echo on, which increases my Anomaly Power whenever I activate a skill, so I swapped out the second mod for Bullet Kindling, which increases my damage to enemies afflicted by burn, since our skills are going to be spreading burn a lot. Going to the gloves, you can use whatever purple rarity with the desired attributes of Anomaly Power, Status Power, and cooldown reduction. With the mods, I went with Ride the Wave for an additional heat wave, giving me 3 to use at my disposal before the cooldown starts, so I'll be able to spread a lot of burn and increase my Anomaly Power by a ton. The second mod is Unstoppable Force, which increases my Anomaly Power by 50% of my Resistance Pierce bonus, which in the class tree I get a good amount of, which means just more Anomaly Power. Last up are the boots with the exact same idea, any kind of purple rarity with the same desired attributes. For the mods, I put Burnt Out, which makes enemies hit by the skill Heatwave take an additional 25% increased damage from all sources, meaning my skills and weapon mod, Claymore Torrent, are going to deal a lot more damage to those enemies. Especially since the width of Heatwave is increased, I can cast it out a total of 3 times before entering cooldown, and the best part about it is that this debuff stacks on top of itself, making it possible for an enemy to take 75% increased damage from any source. So Heatwave is going to be a pretty big skill in this build. The second mod is Reload Boost, increasing my anomaly damage by 50% after reloading, and that includes weapon mods as well, such as Claymore Torrent, since they deal anomaly damage. Again, we are almost there so I can explain how it all works together. So let's dive into the skills and why I chose to use them. Starting off with the first skill, Heat Wave. There's a lot of reasons why I chose this skill, so I'll try to make it quick. I went with this skill for the anomaly power I can get whenever I activate it, debuffing enemies, spreading burn so I can heal, doing increased damage, how many times I can use this skill, how easy it is to use this skill, and how short its cooldown is. I think that summed it up pretty good. Now let's talk about the main skill that's going to let us do that 10 million plus damage, Phaser Beam. Actually, there's not too much to say about it. It has a fairly short cooldown, good range, and does a crazy amount of damage in an instance, wiping out anyone in front of it. The skill Heat Wave is basically used to power up this skill, if anything. The last skill, which may be surprising, is Volcanic Rounds, being used to spread the burn effect to a lot of enemies so I can heal off that damage with skill Life Leech, and also increasing all my anomaly damage by 50% after reloading or cancelling the skill. You're probably saying, what's the point of this skill if we're not going to use it? Well, you're right, we aren't really using this skill, we just want to activate the mod Reload Boost that increases our anomaly damage by 50% for 15 seconds. Now for how we use this entire build. You'll want to switch to your secondary after activating Volcanic Rounds, cancelling the skill and activating the mod. Then start shooting at enemies to activate Fortress, which is going to give us a 30% increased damage, resistance, and armor. Just an all-around buff. Then use all 3 Heat Waves, which are going to do a lot more damage since we have 2 mods procced, increasing our damage. Heat Wave is going to make that enemy take increased damage and give us a lot of anomaly power, charging up our skill Phaser Beam. The last thing is just using Phaser Beam and clearing out anything that's in front of you. An amazing part about this setup is that you never reload your weapons ever, because when you activate Volcanic Rounds and switch weapons, it instantly reloads that weapon, so when you switch back to it, it'll have 100 rounds ready to fire. With Fortress and Reload Boost activated, the mod Claymore Torrent that's on our weapon should be hitting for around 400,000 damage per enemy hit, so that's going to be another great source of damage. I will say this build is very glass cannon-like, so the main way to stay alive is constantly spreading the burn status effect for skill Life Leech to kick in. Last up, we have the class tree, so let's dive into it. I started off by going into the bottom branch to increase my anomaly power and damage before heading to the middle of the tree to grab cooldown reduction nodes and max health nodes. Then grabbing 3 big nodes, one that increases my skill Life Leech, another increasing my armor whenever I activate one of my skills, and lastly one that increases my resistance pierce and armor piercing bonus by 45%, which gives me anomaly power because I have the mod Unstoppable Force on. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, drop a like, or if you think there's something I can do to make this video or build better, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly Outriders content. That's everything for today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one.